Lab number 233. In this lab we will continue developing our comrade application, and right now it's time to focus on our details page. So actually what's happening now is that we are able to communicate with MobileFirst Platform server, we are able to call the adapter, we are getting results from this call, and we are able to display it in the main page and repeatable items list. Basically, next step is to create some kind of logic, and the logic should be follows. When we're clicking on a specific item, and we'll be doing it using ng-click on our item inside index.html. So when we're clicking on this item, we'll need to change the state. So we'll need to go from main to details. We'll use the custom function for that. Let's name it something like go-to. And inside this function, we'll pass actually the current user, the current comrade, as the input parameter. It's not the best practice. It's not. Ideally, you should create a different controller for this page. You should create a service that will actually hosting this list of comrades, and from time to time you will be doing the calls to it to get a whole list or to get a specific item. But in our case, to simplify the development, we will just pass comrade as the input parameter for this go-to function, and we will declare this function inside our controller, something like this. Let's do some kind of login, like current comrade, and let's also assign this comrade to the current comrades variable, something like this. And then basically we need to navigate. We will be doing that using state go, and then we need to have the name of the state. In our case, it will be details. Of course, to be able to use the state go, we need to declare it like this. And basically, this current comrade should be able, should give us an opportunity inside the details page to use the same stuff like we used here. So, for example, for images, instead of comrade, we will use the current comrades, and everything else will be the same. And the same thing will be for the username and for the job role. Just like this. And then we will need to set the email. We'll use p tag here, and inside this tag we will set comrade, but of course it's not comrade, it should be current comrade everywhere. So for email, we are using user email. Then for office phone, we'll use phone, and then cell for mobile. So user email, then I will copy this line put it here. And once again, so phone cell, and of course to send SMS we will still use cell. So those numbers will be visible under send SMS, call to mobile, and call to office title. We will have a title, and downside the user phone number, and then a mobile phone number. And of course, firstly we'll have email there. We'll need to save this. And next thing is that actually we need to work a bit on our controller loading stuff. So in app.js, as you remember, we stated that in main state there will be a main controller. We'll remove this from here because this will be one controller for all three states, and we will define it in our index.html right here where we have body ng app. We'll have ng controller. So it's still main controller, and also we need to adopt our controller a bit because at the moment we will launch it, most probably the work library still won't be able to load. I mean MobileFirst platform libraries, of course. So there are two options. So first of all, we can define some kind of callback, and at the moment when the libraries will be successfully loaded, we can do this request. Or the second thing, a bit simpler for us, we can define a function, something like get comrades, for example. So this part of the code, including the request construction, then the parameters, sending, and two callbacks, will be inside this function. And basically we will call this function at the moment when we actually passing the login screen. So we'll create one more function here. Let's name it something like do login. And basically what it will be doing when we will click on a login button, it will call this function that we just created, scope get comrades, and afterwards it will navigate to main state. Yeah, and by the way, I did a typo here. It should be current comrade instead of what I typed. Something like this. Now it's time to change index.html, our login file. So here where we had a button with ref to main, we'll replace it with ng-click, and inside we will have do login function call when I will click on this button. So now it should work, and we can try it. I will need to launch my emulator. In case you have it already running, you can ignore this step. And now I can do mfp Cordova emulate to see the result. Okay, so our application launched. Let's open the console, inspect devices, and inspect the specific session. So as you can see, it's connected to MobileFirst Platform server. When we click login, it should actually load the list of comrades. Yeah, we have this list. When we click on specific comrade, we should get into details and see the comrade details. Yeah, it's working exactly as we hoped. So we are seeing the details for a specific comrade, and we are able to navigate back and select anyone else from the list. So basically, on this step, our lab is finished, and we will continue development of this comrade application in next labs.